Got dozens of letters from girls just like these girls saying that they were kidnapped in the middle of the night, blindfolded, dropped in the middle of nowhere, forced on their knees, had to fake perform oral sex. They were doused in spoiled milk and ketchup. The scariest part, though, is that it's done in the name of girl bonding.
That's
it's as if we all want to be friends, but it is so soul-destroying. And it's a secret. Because it's girls and because girls are so good at keeping secrets, everybody keeps it a secret.
Keep it a secret. I'm glad you guys are not keeping it a secret today. And Melanie, you actually ended up having bronchitis and walking pneumonia. You thought you were going to die.
Yeah, I ended up quitting over spring break. I ended up quitting from the sorority, from being, pledging, because I was more scared for my life. And I thought that was more important than being a sorority that was hazing me.
Cooper, Lawrence is here. She's an expert with teens also. What should you say to a teen? What should they do when they're a victim of this and they don't want to be a part of it and they feel kind of hopeless?
Because it is secretive, you have to tell somebody. Hazing is illegal in 44 states for a reason, because you're talking about kids who are being, their safety is under the guise of other kids who are not responsible enough to make decisions for you.
Yes.
So not only could it cause long-term effects like depression, like we've been hearing, but you can get sick, you can get injured. I mean, the fact that we don't hear more people dying, I think a certain amount of kids do die every year from hazing. This is no different than bullying. The only difference is at the end of bullying, you just get bullied. At the end of this, you get accepted to this special group, as if that's a place you ever want to be anyway.
Well, I'm really happy. There was an anonymous tip. There was an anonymous email from your sorority that unveiled all of these awful things that were happening, and they interviewed a bunch of girls. I know you were one of them, and because of that, as we said earlier, the sorority was shut down on their campus. Good for you. I'm proud of you. We'll be right back. These days, from Twilight, I love Twilight, to True Blood. You can't get enough of this blood-sucking vampire. Now, there's a hot new show on the CW. Our sister, our cousin of the Tyra Show, is on the CW. We're on the CW now, called The Vampire Diaries. Check this out.
Tell me something. When's the last time you had something stronger than a squirrel?
I know what you're doing, Damon. It's not gonna work.
Yeah, come on. Don't you crave a little? Stop it. Let's do it. Together. I saw a couple girls out there. Or let's just cut to the chase. Let's just go straight for Elena. Stop it! Imagine what her blood tastes like. I can't. I said stop! I was impressed. I give it a 6. You missed on style, but I was pleasantly surprised.
Here's the star of The Vampire Diaries, Ian Somerhalder.
How are you? Good to see you.
Wow. So,
there's a lot of feminine energy in this room.
I heard some woos. Y'all like Ian? They're feeling
Turning
you.
red, man.
Well, we have something in common, ladies. Me and Ian, we have something in common. We are both former models. Yes.
I met you a long time ago.
You met me a long time ago? Where?
I met you when I was 16 in Milan.
Really?
And I'm 30.
You're 30, so you were 16, so then I was like 20, 21 years old. Wow. Is that you back in the day? Look how cute you were.
Wow. I haven't seen that picture in a long time.
What's the most embarrassing thing that's happened to you as a model, when you're modeling?
Ooh, I'm sure you have a couple of those stories, too.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, about around the time I met you, I was doing a press release thing with one of your old model friends. She did very well for herself, but it was for, I think, Valentino, and it was outside. It was in October, it was very chilly, and I was wearing this white suit, but I was wearing black underwear. So the stylist came over and said, "Hey, can you take those off?" I can't do the accent. And so I did. But there was like a clothing rack in front of me, so I took them off. I'm going to turn red just thinking about this. Took the underwear off, and then I went to grab the pants, but the guy had taken them away to steam them. And all of a sudden, cue, the clothing cart moves away,
And you're just
and I'm
naked.
just standing there,
Oh my
16, right out of New Orleans, and I'm in Italy, and I'm naked now in this room.
gosh. Oh my gosh.
And to make it better, there were 2 cameras. There was a VH1 camera and 60 Minutes rolling on the whole thing.
Oh my gosh.
And so I reached over and grabbed this bird cage with these 2 little birds in it
Are you serious?
and just held it in front of me.
Have you done nude scenes as an actor?
I have now.
You have now. What about on Vampire Diaries? Are there a lot of love scenes? It seems like there would be a lot of love scenes.
There's some sexy stuff going on.
Yeah.
I have to say, I mean, they're utilizing me for that sometimes.
For that. What is it about guys that play vampires? I had Robert Pattinson on, and you guys, it's like you just evoke this like mystery. Like,
Really?
Yeah, and I can see why you were probably cast for this, because there's this thing that you're not even trying. It's almost even, actually, it's your DNA. It's how your eyes are deep set in your head. Do you see it? How his eyebrows like pull over his eyes like that, and like you just.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
You probably don't even have to act on the show. They just say action, and you're just like.
this show was hard to get. This show was really hard to get. They tested a lot of people. We had to work our butts off.
How many auditions did you do?
It was about 10 days of hell.
Really? Do they put like whitish makeup on you? Like,
Yeah, I
like
get some of that.
You get like powdery stuff?
Really cool eyes. It's like a full red contact, fangs.
Nice.
The second those come on, I become a completely different human being.
Yeah?
And people, they stay away from me a little bit.
Tell me about the show in general. Like, what is the premise? We know it's vampires.
Yeah,
but
I mean, you know, they were a series of best-selling novels that were written in the early '90s. They did very well, and you know, it's a story of, you know, it's that sort of, if anything, it's sort of a strange star-crossed lovers type thing where, you know, you have this,
a Romeo and Juliet type thing?
you know, 2 brothers who are vampires, and you know, have a history together, and there's a lot of animosity, a lot of anger, and they sort of have their eyes set on this one girl, and it brings up a lot of issues, as women do with men, and as men do with women.
I was about to say, you better say it the other way around, too.
Well, of course. You know, sort of stirs up and makes the water a little murky, and makes us do things.
Are you a good
sometimes.
vampire or a bad vampire on the show?
Depends on your perspective.
That is true, because if a girl is into bad boys, she'd say that you were the good vampire.
Yeah, I mean, there's that thing, that kind of bad boy thing. I don't know. I don't know why we as humans are sort of drawn sometimes to the
Darker
bad
side.
boy or the bad girl.
Do you have a girlfriend?
I do.
Yeah?
Yes, and I've been seeing her in little sporadic moments of. I've been to New York. In the last 5 days, I've been to New York 3 times.
And she is
From Atlanta. She's here.
in New York. And you shoot the show in L.A.
We live in Atlanta. I live in Atlanta now.
You shoot the show in Atlanta. And you're from New Orleans.
I am.
And why don't you have an accent?
Did anybody catch that? I don't know. I think my mom knew I would at some point be an actor, and sort of just wanted me to. I did have an accent when I was a kid, and sometimes I listen to video, and it's so cute, you know, just running around. But I think it was more Cajun.
Well, you
Send me
can
closer,
catch
though.
Vampire Diaries Thursdays at 8 p.m. on the CW. We'll be right back. Okay, so what would you do for money? Everybody is strapped for cash these days. We know this recession ain't no joke, right? And I have got cash in my hands right now to give away. Okay, so check this out. This is a board with a lot of different interesting things to do for money. And let me tell you how this came about. I was in Los Angeles with a bunch of my friends, and we were at a very fancy, I mean, one of those restaurants where the waiter's from Kansas, but he talks like this when he comes to your table. You know, like those really like fancy restaurants. And they put $200 on the table, and they're like, Tyra, I dare you to runaway walk around this entire room, take a bite of food off of every stranger's plate, and at the very end, chug